You said 2025 is going to be your batch, but girl, you've been slacking. Let's be honest. At the pace you're going right now, do you think you're going to achieve the things and the goals you set for yourself by the end of this year? I thought as much, and that's exactly why I'm bringing you this video. Consistency is one of the major ingredients when it comes to being successful, and usually we tend to confuse consistency with discipline. Discipline is about the amount of effort you put in, but consistency is more about showing up. It might be very little things you do every single day, but the idea of consistency is for you to show up every single day regardless of how big or little that effort may seem. And consistency can actually lead to discipline because when you're able to do something every single day, it actually develops as a habit. And before you know it, you actually gather momentum to do that thing, not just consistently, but do it pretty well. Now, when it comes to being consistent, that can actually be pretty difficult because we all know that every single day cannot be the same. Today you might be feeling it, tomorrow you will definitely not be feeling it. And what exactly are you going to do when these excuses pop up? When your energy levels are pretty shaky, or probably when you're lacking a sense of direction. Now that's exactly why I brought you this video because this year we are definitely not taking it for granted. And I'm going to be showing you exactly how to be consistent. And trust me, I'm not going to give you the normal tips you're going to be seeing online. I'm giving you the three major tips that I personally use to stay consistent in my life. And this tips is applicable to every single area of your life. I'm talking about your career, I'm talking about your spirituality, your mentality, your relationship, like whatever it is you want to be consistent in this year, you can definitely apply these tips in every single area of your life. And it's just three tips, so I won't be wasting your time. Let's get into it. And don't forget to stay till the end because I'm not just going to be giving you tips on how to be consistent. At the end of the video, I'm going to be showing you exactly how to apply those tips in 4 simple steps. So let's get straight into it. So the first step I'm going to be mentioning when it comes to being consistent is for you to start the task to create momentum. The major problem you have is that you spend way too much time thinking about the task instead of actually doing the task. Now, when you think about the task, you're literally consuming more energy than when you actually carry out that task, but you just don't know that. And that's why I'm bringing it to you. And I love Newton's first law of motion because it explains this principle pretty well. So basically, it states that an object in motion or at rest will remain in its original state unless being acted upon by an external force. When you start working towards a specific direction, you actually create momentum. Think of it this way. Maybe you want to write a book and in your head you're like,
Oh, I do not have the energy to write this book.
if you don't actually get up and get a pen and a paper and start writing, or open up your iPad or your laptop and start scribbling something down or typing something down, trust me, you're not going to do it. That's what the law is trying to tell you. If you're not moving, you will not move. And if you're moving, nothing can stop you. Whenever you want to do something, no matter what it is, whether it's you want to pray, or maybe you want to get a gift for someone, or maybe you want to hang out with your friends, you don't necessarily go out and you're trying to be more social, whatever it is you want to do, go ahead and start that thing and stop thinking about it, because the moment you start it, you actually create momentum. If you want to exercise and you wake up in the morning and you do not feel like actually exercising, but you want to be consistent this year, what do? Go ahead and get dressed in your gym clothes, because the moment you get dressed, you're definitely not going to be laying down on your bed with your gym clothes. You're then going to want to carry out your workout routine. And maybe you could actually start with squats. Okay, you tell yourself, okay, let me do 5 squats. And after those 5 squats, you're going to be like, oh, I still have a little bit of energy. Let me do 10 more squats, and then it continues. And before you know it, you've ticked one thing off your to-do list for the day. So if you want to be consistent, just start. Stop thinking about it and just do the thing. The second tip I'm going to give you when it comes to being consistent is for you to create systems that actually work. So basically, a system is just fractions of a whole. You know how an organization works? Like when you come to a company or an organization, it's made of branches, right? You would see the branch for manufacturing, you would see the branch for packaging, you'd see the quality control branch, you would see the HR branch, you see the admin, you see the security, you see the cleaners. Like all those branches makes up the whole. And without each section of this organization cannot function properly. Because if you take away the manufacturing section away from the organization, then they'll probably have no product. If you take away the marketing, then they would make no sales. If you take away the packaging, then their product would look really crappy. So all this makes up the whole. So that's what the system does. The problem we have is that we usually set goals instead of system. Now we've done a lot of goal setting. Now it's time to create a system for yourself. I want you to think of it this way. Your goal is the destination. Now your system is the transportation. If you want to get somewhere, you need a means to get there. You're not going to fly because I'm sure you do not know how to fly. And if it's a really long distance, you walking won't cut it. So you actually want to merge these two together because none can function without the other. I use four major steps to create a system that actually works. The first one is for you to set small goals. Now, hold up. I know this sounds pretty contradictory to what I've been preaching on my channel. You need to understand that the big picture is an illusion, and that's the mistake we are always making. Let's say you want to get into medical school. You tell yourself, oh, I want to get into medical school, and that's about it. That's your goal. Okay, that's good. That's fair enough. But how do you plan to achieve it? Okay, so here I'm going to actually ask you, like literally plead with you to set small goals. Now, I know the big picture. Maybe you want to be a content creator or a YouTuber, and your goal for the year is to gain 1 million subscribers. Well, that's good, but I want you to start small. Start with 500 subscribers at least. You've not even hit 500. So let's start with 500 subscribers. I know this might actually feel like you dreaming small, but this is for a reason. As much as you still have that 1 million subscribers in your head, let's keep it there. But now, when we are setting our goals, we are going to make it really small. Now, the idea behind this is for you to be able to achieve tiny wins that actually helps you gain confidence in yourself and your abilities. So if you want to be a YouTuber, instead of telling yourself, oh, by the end of the year, I am going to gain 1 million subscribers, how about you do it like this? By the end of this month, I want to gain new 100 subscribers, period. Let's start from there, because now it gives you a clear picture and it makes the destination much more achievable, and it makes you more focused on what you're going to achieve within the next few days. Now, the second thing you also want to do is for you to have a plan. Now, this is where it's very, very important to draw down daily plans of what you want to do and steps you're meant to take to get you to where you're going. Now, here you're going to tell yourself, I'm going to be posting videos 3 times in a week. Now, if you are trying to get into medical school, is the big picture, right? Now, the small picture is you actually filling out application forms. Or maybe the small pictures is actually you researching for schools to figure out which schools you want to apply to. That's the small picture. Having a plan would actually look like, on Monday, I am going to do my school research. And when I figure out the schools I want to apply, then on Thursday, I would start filling application forms. That's what having a plan looks like. Now, if you do not have a plan, it's going to be pretty difficult, because now you know where you're going, but you don't even know how to get there. And usually we make this mistake because we think that just because we want something that we're going to get it, but we forget that just like an organization, there are different sections, there are different things that actually have to happen for you to actually get the whole, for you to actually achieve your goals. You have to break it down. If not, you're going to be confused. When you get overwhelmed, you would literally lose direction and you would not know what else to do. So having a plan makes it pretty clear where you're going and how to get there. And when you're also creating the plan, please, I'm literally going to beg you, make room for error. The question you're meant to be asking yourself is, what will you do when you can't do it all? What will you do when you do not have the energy, or when you do not feel like doing the things you said you're going to do? That's why it's very important to create room for error. So what you want to do is to tell yourself, okay, I want to fill out my application form, but I have a really busy day. So what's going to happen is I'm going to wake up pretty earlier, maybe 1 hour earlier, so that I can try to fill up at least one or two application forms before I get to work. So that even if I come back from work and I'm too exhausted to fill out more forms, I can gladly take a rest without feeling guilty about it. And the fourth step that can help you create a system that actually works is for you to learn how to delay instant gratification. I feel like this is the major killer of our dreams, because, to be honest, a day is going to come when you're not going to feel like doing the things you said you're going to do. Maybe you're having emotional baggages or traumas or stress. Maybe you had a really bad day at work, or maybe you just woke up at the wrong side of the bed. And it's normal, it happens to everybody, including me and even the best of us. So, what you want to do is to learn how to delay instant gratification. Instant gratification is just basically, simply put, you always escaping your reality, and it can come in really little ways. Maybe binge watching movies, or even mindlessly scrolling on your phone, or even sleeping. It depends on individual lifestyle. But the most of it is by binge watching or mindlessly scrolling. So the question you're meant to ask yourself is, how bad do you want this? You want to get into medical school. How bad do you really want it? Because if you want it bad enough, then you should understand that those things that are taking your attention and distracting you from your current reality, those things are literally making their own money, and you're still broke, and you're still stuck, and you're still trying to figure your life out, and you're enriching someone else's pocket when you could actually enrich yours by taking the right step you're meant to take every single day to get you to where you're meant to be. Now that's on you. That's your responsibility. So whenever you have the urge, and most times it can be so automatic that you don't even realize what you're doing until you start doing it. But please, once you catch yourself doing the things that are not getting you closer to your goals, you've got to ask yourself, how important are my goals to me? And how is this action I'm taking, mindlessly scrolling or binge watching or sleeping, helping me get closer to my goals? And that's it. With these four steps, you can actually create a system that actually works, so that every single day, regardless of how you feel, you would be able to show up for yourself, no matter how little or big the effort may seem. And finally, the last and third step that you need to be able to be a really consistent person in this year is for you to actually set deadlines. Now, I think this is my all time favorite, because no matter how depressed, no matter how sad, loss of energy, excuses I have, the moment I set a deadline for myself, trust me, there is no going back. Now, I use this in every single area of my life. I use it when I want to pray. I would tell myself, okay, I have 30 minutes to pray. I'm heading out in the next 1 hour, so I have 5 minutes to pray. So having a deadline for that actually prompts me to actually say my prayers. Okay, let's even use my channels on my social media platforms, for instance. On YouTube, I have a deadline. I have to post every Friday by 4 p.m., right? So now, though I didn't post last week, I really do apologize for that. Well, no matter how busy I am throughout the week, once it hits Monday, I'm like, oh my god, I definitely need to have a video ready by Friday. So, regardless of how busy I am, it forces me to create time to research for my next video. It forces me to create time to read and prepare for my next video, so that before Wednesday, Thursday, I need to have a video ready to upload for Friday. That's what a deadline does to you. It forces you to work within time frame. It forces you to create this identity that is associated with your goals, and even aside from content creation, my business, for instance, when a customer places an order for my business, I give them a deadline, 2 weeks max. So now it forces me to work within time frame. So what am I trying to say? If you're lacking motivation and consistency and discipline in your life and you want to change that, learn to set deadlines. Because the moment you set a deadline for yourself, it's going to force you, your brain begins to work within that time frame. I want you to look at it like this. Remember when you were in school, okay, or maybe you're at work and you have a deadline to submit a presentation or an assignment. So regardless of how lazy and unserious you are, let's say you're meant to submit it by 12 p.m. on Monday. Trust me, no matter how unserious you are, once it's Monday morning, somehow, or before that 12 p.m. on Monday, somehow you already have the assignment. And it's maybe even close to the deadline, you become the most creative and inspired version of yourself. I know it happens to me a lot. So if you are lacking consistency, force yourself to be consistent by creating deadlines for yourself. So finally, I've given you the 3 ways you can actually become more consistent this year. So I'm going to show you exactly how to apply this into every single area of your life in just 4 major steps. So the first thing you want to do is set a goal. And like I said, we're not setting the big goal. Yes, you know, I want to become a superstar. That's the big goal. Yeah, I want to become a fashion designer. I want to become a medical doctor. I want to become a YouTuber with 1 million subscribers or whatever, 10 million. That's the big goal. Now keep that aside because that's an illusion that would actually lure you and make you more confused and make you less strategic. It's just going to confuse you. So you have the big picture, keep it aside. Now let's create a really small picture. You want to become a medical doctor. What are the steps you need to become a medical doctor? It's first going to start with you getting admission, right? Good. Now that's the small picture. So now we have a small picture. Let's say you want to become a fashion designer. What's the small picture? The small picture could be applying or registering for a fashion school. You know, that's the small picture. Let's say you want to be a YouTuber or a content creator with over 1 million subscribers or followers. Now the small picture could be gaining 1,000 followers or 1,000 subscribers. That's the small picture. So we're going to work with the small picture because the bigger your goals, the more unattainable they may seem. And you may not like to accept this, but when it's too big, it looks like it's unachievable. And then you become less motivated and then you lose your sense of direction. So basically, you're just going to tell yourself, okay, we're just going to get 1,000 subscribers and we are good. We've done good for ourselves. Then the second thing you want to do is have a plan. So you want to go into fashion school. What's the plan? Maybe the plan now is to start saving 5,000 naira every month so that you can save up enough money to apply for a fashion school. Maybe the plan now is to research for schools you want to go into and fill out application forms and send in your application so that you can actually gain admission into a medical school. Maybe the plan now is to get 1,000 subscribers or 1,000 followers on your YouTube. So probably the plan could be creating content every single week so that you can actually get there, and also reading and researching so that you can keep improving your content. You want to actually break it down into daily goals so that every single day you can plan this ahead of time. Personally, I'm going to recommend don't plan a week ahead or a month ahead. Just plan every single night. So when you achieve goals for today, you know what you did today. So it gives you a clear picture of what's left. So you can actually plan based on what's left the next day. Like, how do I mean? Let's say today I was able to complete my research to get into medical school. So tonight, before I actually fall asleep, I'll take like 5 minutes laying down on my bed. I would actually put into my to-do list. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to fill out 3 application forms, and that's it. Planning a week ahead, you're not like having a very clear picture of what you want to do. You know, maybe you would presume that by Wednesday that you've already picked out schools and sent out your application forms. But unfortunately, on Wednesday, you've not even figured out the schools you want to apply to. So I'll basically say plan your days ahead, not your months ahead. Then the third step you also want to take is to set a deadline for yourself. So if you tell yourself, okay, today I am going to film a video today, that's already a deadline. But always be time specific when you're setting deadlines. I think that's very, very important because as I'm filming this video, yeah, I was actually meant to film this video today. this morning, like way earlier this morning, because I told myself I'm going when I wake up on Sunday. This is Sunday morning, Easter to be precise. I told myself when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to wake up really early and I'm going to film this video. But unfortunately, I've been struggling to go to bed really early lately, so it's really impacting my sleeping time and my sleeping routine. Yeah. So when I woke up this morning, I was so exhausted. I think I woke up around 8. That's actually pretty early than the time I actually wake up. And I told myself, leaning back, like, oh my god, I'm so tired. How about I film this tomorrow? I'll still have enough time to edit it before Friday. But then I remembered I want to actually put in more work into the way I edit. So having it ready this morning would be a plus. So me having a deadline and a clear picture of what I want to achieve actually forced me to film this video before I actually do anything else this morning. Always know what you want to achieve and set a specific deadline for yourself. It's going to force you to work within the time frame. And finally, the last step and the last thing you want to do is go ahead and do the thing. Like, you're thinking about it, it's not getting you anywhere. If you like think about the task from now till 5 years to come, from now till 50 years, you're definitely not going to do the thing. So just get up and do it, no matter how exhausted or confused or scared or cringe you think that thing may be. Just go ahead and do it, because your future self, your 2.0 self, will thank you for doing the thing. Go ahead and do it, because it's really not as scary as it seems. You are anxious about writing a book. That's why you've not opened the book. But trust me, the moment you just flip that page and write down one word, the next thing you're writing a sentence. The next thing you know, you're writing a paragraph. And the next thing you know, one page is down. You want to exercise and you're overthinking it. Oh, I'm so exhausted. I don't think I have the energy levels to actually carry out the exercise today. Okay, maybe your energy level is low. Put on your gym clothes and take a stroll while listening to your favorite music or podcast. Okay, the moment you start something, you actually create momentum to keep doing it. So, whenever you're confused and you're tired and you're scared and you do not know what to do and you're just anxious and it's stopping you from actually carrying out the task, I want you to always remember the Newton's first law of motion. An object at rest or in motion will remain in its original state unless it's acted upon by an external force. So if you decide and you stick to not doing the thing, you're going to keep not doing the thing until you actually break the cycle. And if you actually start, nothing can actually stop you. So just start and you will just continue being in motion. So basically with that, we've come to the end of this video. I really do hope this was helpful and practical enough for you to be able to apply it in your daily life to achieve maximum success and growth. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know which tip resonates with you the most so that I can create more content like this. And I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.